Hi everyone, welcome to video number 14 in our series 30 Days of Insights. Today I wanted to talk about what does it really take to change. And I realized for me, I had always thought that change begins with an idea that you have a goal that you want to achieve, whether it is to lose a certain amount of weight, to reach a certain promotion within your job, or achieve a certain objective within your business. I thought it starts with some idea, some goal, and then from there you would do whatever you needed to do, get the necessary resources and supports into place, and just go about doing your thing. But I see now that that is one way to go, but it's not a very sustainable and it's not a very fulfilling way of enacting change in our lives. A few years ago, I decided to take a walk every morning, and it was partially for fitness, but mainly for there was a mental, psychological aspect to it. I wanted to start a habit of just relaxing and being easy and being disengaged from the pressures and stresses of life. And so it was challenging at first, but after a while it became almost something that I needed to do. And I would find myself taking 2 and 3 hour long walks in the morning, and not because of whatever weight loss goal I was seeing or not seeing, but just because of how it made me feel. And so it's now been several years since that started, but I still continue to do the walks, not every day, and especially in winter. I don't do it every day. Especially in winter, I don't do it every day. But I've realized that this is now something that started out as a necessity, something that started out as I suppose, as a curative approach to what I felt was a psychologically challenging time in my life, has now become such an integral part of my day, my way of being. And so brings me back to this question of how do we actually change? I had no intention of becoming a walker, but now I am. I seek out beautiful, quiet, challenging areas to walk, whether it be beautiful neighborhoods or just lovely parks, or the beach, or hilly neighborhoods. But this is now who I am. And so when we look back at how do we change, how do I become, for example, the person who is unaffected by other people's opinion of me, I think it's a complex question that deserves lots of introspection and lots of time given to it. But again, I think it starts with a level of awareness. First, you need to be aware that yes, I care about what people think of me, and my caring about what they think causes A, B, and C negative impact in my life. I want to change this. So, where do I start? A good question might be, why do I care about what they think? As we delve into those questions, we can then start to establish a very gentle way of disengaging ourselves from what used to be a destructive or unwanted behavior or approach. So I don't want to care so much about what people think of me. Where can I start? I care about what the teller at the supermarket thinks of me. How can I approach that situation that seems to be kind of low risk, and it won't have a huge impact across the rest of my life? How can I, for example, approach that small instance as almost as a test scenario? And then as I become more comfortable with not caring about what the cashier thinks of me at the shopping mall or at the grocery store, then how do I escalate that? How do I, when I found that I have achieved a level of comfort with whatever the cashier's attitude is, it comfort in that the attitude of that person does not cause a disturbance within me. That is what I mean when I say a level of comfort. It's not that you just sit there and take it necessarily if the person is rude, but that you are able to see that the response that you give is not coming from a place of anger or a place of vitriol, that what somebody says on the outside does not immediately, cause a negative response within you, whether it be one of fear or anger or anything like that. And so once you get a little bit comfortable with that initial situation, look for areas where you can expand on that experience. So maybe it's the cashier, and then maybe next it's my partner, and then we can work with the situation from that. So basically, what I'm realizing is that the action part is probably more important than, I have this big goal of not giving a damn about what anybody thinks of me. Figuring out what is the smallest action I can take in regards to this, whatever the goal is or the outcome is that I'm looking to change. What is the smallest action I can take? And then on a day-to-day or as consistent as possible a basis, to just look at taking those actions, as uncomfortable as they may be at first, and you will find after a time that the discomfort will evaporate and you become more and more proficient in taking the action. So that would be my message to you all today, is to just think about how do we instigate change that becomes part of us, as opposed to just pursuing a goal of attaining a certain amount of money or a certain promotion. Once you've attained that promotion, or once you've attained that amount of money, what what is there, what else is there? But if we look at, you know, the goals or objectives of changing ourselves in some meaningful way, as we accomplish that goal or accomplish that objective, it puts us in a position to